Siddharth Karnati or Sid, what we call him. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Sid at a TEDx presentation. We were both presenting in Montgomery College there in Maryland, and impressive young man, 17 years old, high school. And he spoke about the pressures of being a teenager and how sports helped him pull him out. We see that, suicide rate in teenagers is terribly high, but really, really well-spoken. He also wrote a book after the TEDx. I don't know many teenagers that have done all this. And I pressed him on where'd you get the idea to do it? And his answer was just remarkable, absolutely remarkable, but very impressive young man. And he just thinks way beyond himself. He just thinks of others and thinks of community and thinks of how to help. He had a message that helped him, and he thought the best way to get it out is to do a TEDx and write a book. Just very impressive from beginning to end. Really, really enjoyed the conversation. It may be the first time I talked to anybody below 18 years old on the podcast, but he's well beyond his years. He's got an old soul. I really, really thank you, Sid, for your time today. And thank you for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. A good time. Siddharth Karnati is your full name pronounced, but we call you Sid. Yeah. What is it about neuroscience that you like?
Well, honestly, just the thought of how the brain works, and it's such a complex organ, right? It just enthralls me on how it works and how it controls everything in the body, and how there's so many complications to it, such as autism, MS. All of those fascinate me more than any other part in the body, honestly.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. Now, you're a young man. How long has the brain interested you?
Well, honestly, I joined this class called Brain Bee in 7th grade, and then since then it's just been the most interesting part to me.
7th grade was how long ago?
7th grade was 4 years ago.
Very interesting. Do you see yourself pursuing more interest in how the brain works?
Yes, for sure. For sure.
So Sid, we met at the TEDx event there in Maryland at oh my goodness, the name of the college just escaped my mind for a second.
Montgomery College?
Montgomery, of course. Yes, at Montgomery. And you did such a great job on stage. I watched it again this morning. Tell me exactly what you talked about again. Remind me.
So
Please.
I talked about sports as therapy for teens.
Yeah. And more specifically, what it did for you and what it does for you.
So Sports as therapy. I mean, without it, I don't know where I'd be at right
Yeah.
now. So it's helped me to become the person I am in that it taught me discipline. It
Yeah.
taught me how to find a place to express my emotions. Um, Honestly, it's also a place where I made so many important relationships,
Hmm.
learned so many life lessons. Um, that's pretty much sports for me.
But you describe scenarios, Sid, where you're having a rough day, you're not doing well on tests, or you have a test coming up, you got an argument with a friend, and and you put on that football helmet, and it all just goes away.
Yes, that is 100% true because when I play football, you're sort of, if you ever take your brain out of that moment, you already lost. That's why I think it liberates me from all emotions that I encountered that day, that week, any
Hmm.
stresses I have on my body. I feel like yes, I used the rain practice example in my speech, and that was really memorable for me because that week was almost the end of the quarter, and I had so many exams that day, and it just started pouring during practice, and everything just went away. We were all sliding in the mud. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, describe that a little bit more because again, the pressure was there, and I think you said you just had an argument with a buddy, and all of a sudden, just things just kind of disappear, don't they?
Yeah. So that day, it was a lot for sure. That I think it was freshman year. It was my first real academic stress. So it was a lot of
Hmm.
unknown feelings that I didn't know how to express, and that's where the football field became my home, and it stayed like that ever since.
What gave you the idea, Sid, to do the TEDx?
Well, I have all these thoughts, and um okay, sorry. One second.
Please try to focus right here.
I think I'm going to move over there. I think there's better lighting.
The lighting is just fine where it is. You don't have to move anything. You can just stay there.
I think it gets worse throughout the day there where I am.
Okay.
Uh, I'm so sorry about that. All right, so what was I saying? Sorry.
Tell me why you wanted to do a TEDx.
So I had all these thoughts in my head, and I felt like the world needed to hear something about sports and how there's such a medicine, like how it changed my life. I think so many more people should be able to encounter this and make it part of their lives as well.
But it's a long way from having a thought to actually, you had to fill out an application, you had to get accepted, you had to pitch an idea. It's a big process to get a TEDx.
It sure is. I applied to almost 20, and
Huh.
I got accepted into, I think that might have been the only one.
And it's right in your backyard. You're in the General Maryland area, correct?
Yes, yes.
And I go back to the question, Sid, why? Why do it? What message did you feel you had to share with everybody?
I like I said, I think the incorporating sports into a daily routine is something every person I believe should have in their rotation. People with disabilities, I think it should be part of everyone's lives.
Hmm.
Because it's a place where people can express their emotions, people can make bonds with each other. Um, I think, like circling back to the mental health angle, I think teenage sports or sports for all ages is the best therapy.
Hmm. But again, why do a TED? I mean, not many high schoolers do TEDx talks. I mean, what made that leap? I mean, did you have people who have done it and you wanted to follow them and you thought your message was important enough to share?
Yeah, I felt my message was important enough to share on a global stage
Huh.
because I've also I've also started some initiatives around my school about how teenage or about sports, but none of them they get kind of ignored. So I felt I had to step to a larger scale to get my message through.
Hmm. Good for you. And now you played football, but you also ran track, correct? Which is really an individual, even though it's a big team, there's a lot of kind of individuality to that. Compare like being on a full team versus another sport where you're not like that. Do you still get the same kind of connection and team feeling?
Yes, sir. So football, they're like my brothers on that field.
Right.
Um, we do everything together on that field. After practice, team hangouts. It's a lot of fun as well. But track is also like that. I have training partners with every single event. I do every single event in track, literally throwing, jumping,
Huh.
sprinting, hurdling. So I have friends for literally every event that I do, and that those people are almost like my brothers as well. But when I'm competing, I feel like it's a place for me to really go into my zone. Like it's all about me. And that makes me relax. It's different, but it's almost the same like football.
Hmm. And for those who aren't athletes, what do you recommend? Can they still feel that teamship, that camaraderie?
Yeah, for sure. When we're doing warm-ups together, we'll have some funny conversations. The team element is always there for any sport you do, I think,
Eh,
because they're all like trying to achieve the same goal as you.
right. But for those non-athletes who don't play sports, how can they, or should they just try to join a team, or what is your advice to them?
For non-athletes, I would say yes, just join any team. Most sports team, at least at my school, are like they don't. If you register, you automatically make it. Such
Mm,
as for football, for track, for swim, they don't have tryouts. You automatically make the team. So I think it's just a place for you to express your feelings, become or start your athletic journey. Maybe you could be going to the gym, running outside by yourself, anywhere.
hmm. And had you always played sports? Did you play in the neighborhood before you played school sports?
Yes, I did. I always played in the neighborhood, and my parents also enrolled me in a bunch of recreational sports like basketball. I swam my entire life.
Hmm.
It wasn't until seventh grade that I started pursuing track.
Good for you. Good for you. And do you see a life ahead that does not involve athletics, or will you always be an athlete?
I do not. I believe I will always be an athlete no matter what.
You'll find something that you can express yourself athletically.
100%.
So let's go back to the TEDx. It's marveled me. It marvels me because I remember you there and you're practicing, your speech. You're kind of saying it to yourself before going on stage. And it's like, look how impressive this young man is doing that. So when you finally got the nod to get, that you were accepted to do this, you started writing it and you kept preparing. Talk to me about that journey between getting accepted and then finally being on stage there in Montgomery.
Well, I got accepted only 3 to 4 weeks before the
Yeah,
actual
that's
TEDx.
right. That's right. That was really late. Yeah, you're
That was
right.
really
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
So after practice every day, I would just put my homework away and then start reciting my TEDx because I felt this message was so important. I have to do my best to do to show it to everyone. I wanted to execute it perfectly. So I felt it was so important that my homework could wait.
Hmm. And it's stressful. I mean, you memorized it. You did a really good job up there. You felt very natural. You come off very very prepared and intentional. But were you nervous at all?
I was pretty nervous. I was pretty nervous, but I practiced well, so my brain just went with the flow,
Right.
honestly, on stage. And I felt
Yeah.
great after because I felt like I nailed everything I wanted
Great
to.
relief. Yeah. Yeah. You did. You sure did. Now you wrote a book.
I did.
So tell me about the process of writing a book. Why'd you do it? What do you want the reader to come away with from this book?
Well, honestly, like my other mental health kind of initiatives, I want the reader to look at life from a further point of view, not believing that grades or pressure or friends are all that defines you.
Hmm.
I want the reader to believe that there's more to life, more than literally more than grades. The title of my book. Life is more than grades. There are other forms of therapy, and there are other ways to live your life.
And how'd you come up with the idea of writing this?
Well, again, I just wanted to find an audience to hear my ideas. And since I thought I already had the TEDx thing, might as well write a book. Another form of engaging audience.
Yes. Huh. And your process to write the book was what? Did you storyboard? Did you get a an outline first?
Yeah, I pretty much wrote an outline, and then I sort of added more examples. I had specific examples, but then I elaborated on those specific ones, and then yeah, that was pretty much how I wrote my book.
Give me an example of an example.
Example of an example. Okay,
Yeah.
I actually used the same one as I used in my TED talk, the rain practice. So um, I noted how I had three exams that specific day, and um, I was just so stressed because I didn't do well in two of them, and it was just I just felt like life was crashing down on me in that
Yeah.
moment because I have never gotten a B before that.
Wow.
So it was just a lot for me. And then as soon as I put my helmet on and then it started pouring, I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. And then me and my teammates were just rolling around in the mud. It was just like I forgot about everything.
Hmm.
And then that's when I realized life is about fun, not grades. So that was pretty much how I framed that chapter of my book.
So, do you have other friends that have done TEDx and written a book?
I do not.
Do you have any family members that have done that?
Um, Not really. No.
So, explain to me why you did them. I mean, where'd you get the idea from? What? Why you have an idea? Why is it so important for you to get this idea and perspective out to people?
Um, because I've actually been paying attention to the teen suicide rate, and
Hmm.
that is going up by the minute.
Terrible.
Literally, it's
Terrible.
like every 10 minutes a teen kills themselves, and it's just like heartbreaking to me. So I think my goal is for every teen in America to read my book, to see my TED talk, and get inspired because I think sports is such a lifesaver, and to look at life from another way is also such a lifesaver. That's why I felt writing things on a global scale where everyone can see it was so important to me. I didn't want to keep those ideas to myself.
Hmm. What do sports teach us that you don't learn from home?
Well, when you're at home, your mommy and daddy does everything for you, right?
Right.
When you're on the field, you represent yourself.
Hmm.
Um, like if you mess up on the field, no one's gonna do anything for you. Your mom and dad might give you like a pardon or something, but when you're on the field, it's about you.
Interesting.
It's about your motives. It's about your goals. It's about it's about your motive to get better. That's something sports teaches us.
But when you're playing like in a team sport like football, you can have your best game ever still lose, right? Because
Hmm.
the other parts of the team didn't perform as well, etc. How do you reconcile with that?
Well, honestly, what I do, because that has definitely happened before,
Yeah.
I just try and look at it from another person's point of view. Maybe they have had something really bad going on with in their circumstances. It's just sports has made me more, accepting as a person, because I'm not gonna depend on everyone else. Well, it would be great if everyone else could do their things, but I'm not gonna, you know, get mad if someone doesn't do their job.
Hmm.
I'll for sure have a talk with them, understand, hey, what's happening. I'm not gonna ridicule them or accuse them of doing anything beforehand. For sure, I'll try and figure out what's happening and maybe help them in any cause.
So when you look at individual sports like golf or tennis,
Hmm.
you are truly alone there, right? I mean, you can't rely on a partner. You can't really rely on anything else. Where with a team, you have to rely on your teammates, and there's pros and cons there, right? I played soccer all my life, right? So I'm very used to team sports. I played a lot of baseball and pickup football, basketball as well, mostly team sport. Now I play a lot of golf and tennis, and the good and bad is, a team member can't make us lose, but I can. It focuses too much on me. There's got to be some kind of happy medium there. Do you see yourself eventually playing kind of those solo non-team sports as well?
Well, track is pretty much a solo sport.
Yeah.
You decide your fate, and that's why I love it so much. You get out what you put in. That's why I like track so much, cuz I am willing to go above and beyond to put effort into sports. Um I was actually at the track yesterday in 20-degree weather when the wind chill was almost -10, so
Hmm.
it was pretty cold. So, but I was willing to do it cuz I love my sport. That's and I envision myself. I love golf as well. I love tennis. My dad played tennis. He taught me how to play tennis.
Hmm.
So did my mom. All three of us used to play. We haven't found time to play tennis anymore, but we play a lot more sports. But sure, I definitely envision myself playing in individual sports all
Hmm.
my life.
Tell me about the Apple Watch story. What happened there?
So, oh, which Apple Watch story? I have like two.
So I want to hear them both.
Yeah. So, the Apple Watch story. So me, when I was running, my mom suggested for me to get an Apple Watch to sort of um, figure out how much I ran, and I was like, I might need it, I might not, because I'm a sprinter, and really tracking distances and heart rate and all that doesn't really matter to me. And I was like, I might as well get it anyway. And I was like, wait a minute, why don't you need it? I was like, and then I think this goes for all moms. They will put their interests over yours.
Right.
And that just got me thinking, like, why is your self-care important than mine? Or no, why is my self-care more important than yours?
Right.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, um and then I was like, I don't need it. You need it. And she was like, no, I'm good. I'll take care of myself. And then I was like, no, you're not. I think you need to get one for yourself, mom. And she was like, but I want you to do as well as you can. And I was like, I have my stuff under control. I think you need to start, um, you know, showing yourself some love.
Hmm.
So that was my philosophy with that story. That story, it's not anything like crazy in particular. It was just like the time where I really started thinking of how moms neglect their care for their children.
Talk to me about that phenomenon. It does happen a lot. We see mothers putting their children first, and they end up, not paying attention to themselves and getting unhealthy, and not having good health practices. What can we do to encourage better practices? How can we help those mothers?
So, as children, I think what we can do is give our parents permission to take care of themselves. I think I think it's so like there's so many things we can do as children, but I think the one that's most effective is understanding that we are independent and that our parents need to take care of themselves
Hmm.
and giving them permission to put their interests over ours. I think that's one thing I can do as a son.
I wonder when you become a parent, will obviously perspective is going to change. How do you think it's going to change there, Sid?
Yeah, for sure. Wow, I haven't even thought of that. I'm pretty close there. Yeah, perspective is definitely gonna change. I'm gonna be in that spot where I put my kids' interests over mine.
Right.
But something I'll try and do better is keep sports in my life again, because sports really regulates everything I have. I think that's my form of self care.
What if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you. And I agree. I wouldn't be the person I am today without sports. I still consider myself an athlete. I still watch, I still play, but it was just, some of those teammates I had on my soccer team as a kid, I still, talk to this day. I mean, they're lifelong friends and you just kind of build a bond there. And it's hard to describe to those who don't play in team events what that kind of bond is like.
That is for sure true. I've made so many bonds through sports. Most of my friends are through sports.
Right.
But even for people who don't play sports, I think those bonds can also be made through certain clubs, activities, anything through school. I've made so many friends through some of my classes, some clubs I partake in.
Mm.
So many of those relationships come from other places. Like I have a diversity of friends. I have track friends, football friends, um, math friends, chemistry friends, and all of them I'm super close with.
The idea is just to get involved, even if it's music or debate or,
100%.
or sometimes there's language clubs and, there's all these kind of clubs that the schools have. Get involved and be part of a group. I think it really helps, especially you mentioned the suicide rate is so high and people won't feel alone when they're part of a group, part of a community.
Yes, that is so true. Exactly. Getting involved. I think that is the most important part of high school. And that's the first thing my counselor told me on the first day of high school.
Hmm.
Just get involved, whatever it is. And you know, I think it's so common for teens to build a bubble around themselves and
Hmm.
mask it as me trying to get better grades, which could be true, but I think it's more important to put yourself out there.
And Sid, what's your advice to avoid burnout for kids?
My advice to avoid burnout, that's a tough one. I would say to avoid burnout, whew, um, do stuff that makes you happy.
Hmm.
Sports makes me happy, and that's how I'm not burnt out. I'm doing a million things right now, and sports makes me happy, and that keeps me from burning out, I
Hmm.
think. And all the stuff I do, all my school subjects, I enjoy chemistry. I enjoy math. I understand not everyone's not going to be like doing stuff they like, but I would say it's possible to keep at least 2 to 3 things that you really, really enjoy doing. And that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, it sure is. I just keep on it keeps on coming back to me, Sid, how extraordinary you are that you have a TEDx and you wrote a book and you didn't model that after anybody. You didn't say, well, this person did that, therefore I want to do it. I'm just marveled over why you wanted to do it and why you did it. Can you shed more light on that?
Yeah, so one of my favorite singers, Drake, he coined the famous phrase, "Why be the second Kanye when you can be the first Drake?"
Huh.
So I want to be the person that sets everything. I want to be the person
Hmm.
that inspires people. I want to be the person that helps saves lives, helps save people, helps inspire them become better people, to help lower the national suicide rate.
Hmm.
That's what really inspired me to put all this work in, to for the TEDx, for my book, for everything.
Yeah, I applaud your vision and your attitude towards the common good. It's unique, and that's a really wonderful quote by Drake. By the way, I never heard it, but I could certainly see him saying that.
Thank you so much. You did great in your TEDx speech as well. I I've also watched it. I watched it on person that day as well, in person, and I can definitely use some of the strategies you put together in your speech.
I appreciate that. How old are you, Sid?
I am 16.
16. So I was going to say 10 years ago, but 10 years ago you were 6. So let's say entering middle school, like so that'd be 6, 7 years ago. Was there something that you believed in so securely, you believed 100% in that you don't believe in anymore?
Oh, something, huh? Well, coming into middle school, I believed in the tooth fairy, so I was a little
Ah,
naive. I was a little naive, but and as well as no, I think I learned Santa didn't exist a little before that.
very interesting. Very interesting. Huh.
Yeah, and then well, middle school was honestly pretty crazy time for me because I was like, it was it was a different way to make friends back then.
Right.
I was it was just like you see someone, you see them twice, you're friends already.
Huh.
It was nothing like, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. In elementary school, your mom would like force you to go on play dates and stuff with them. In middle school, it was like everything changed.
Hmm.
So that's it was a lot of fun. Middle school. Now reminiscing a little.
And you're a senior now in high school?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. What role does social media play with you and your peers?
Social media, that's a big one. Social media is kind of what, you know, people think they are. That's they try and make their social media look pretty and all that, putting like Instagram highlights and all that. But sometimes they think that replaces who they really are.
Hmm.
So people put so much effort into their likeness on social media. And I think that's not really a great thing. I feel like wasting time on social media causes, to really neglect who you are as a person.
Hmm.
So that's my opinion on social media. Obviously, I'm not a hypocrite. Yes, I use social media. I it's unavoidable, honestly. It's just something I just use it to honestly connect with my friends. That's honestly all I use it for.
I think Australia new law. I think under 16 are not allowed to have social media.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
What do you think about that?
That's pretty eye-opening, and props to them for carrying it out. That's a big deal.
You think it's good?
I think it's pretty good idea. Yes.
You
I
think? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You think social media is mostly harmful?
Yes.
Hmm.
If used in a wrong, if used healthily, like I would say 20 to 45 minutes a day, I don't think it can get harmful, but using it for more than 45 minutes a day, I think that's harmful.
Yeah. There's some statistics now that say, the average is, hours, and getting close to people are on social media for longer than they sleep. And that's not just kids, that's just across. So it definitely, but I would think that sports in your school and your school itself is using social media in some ways just to get messages out, right? So it can't be all bad.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, it's not all bad until it starts becoming a bad habit.
Hmm.
Like using it for more than an hour a day, I would say that's bad.
Yeah.
Because it's my dad and my mom like sort of coined a term. Social media is like a knife.
Huh.
It can be used to cut vegetables and kill people.
Huh. Yes, it can. Is there a question, Sid, you wished more people asked you?
Not really. Not really. I think I have literally I've expressed all my ideas to everyone through TEDx, through my
Hmm.
book. Um I think I have everything that I have in my head expressed everywhere, and I just can't wait to keep doing this. This is something I want to be doing all my life.
Huh.
Showing my ideas to other people, my creativity, really advocating for issues.
Hmm.
That's something I see myself doing my whole life.
Good for you. So what's next, Sid?
What is next? Like I said, I'll definitely keep doing TEDx. I'll keep
Oh, you're going to do more TEDx's?
yes.
Huh.
That's my goal. I want to I have definitely some more ideas in this thing. Um some more issues that I think are so important to express. Um as for what's next, it'll come soon.
Hmm. Do you play a musical instrument or do anything on the art side?
I do actually. I have been playing the piano since I was 4.
Huh.
And then I picked up the violin in 4th grade, and then I've been playing since. And they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, for a kid like me, I don't think anyone would expect I played violin. Oh, he plays football and violin. It's
Right.
kind of crazy.
Can you read music?
Yes, I can.
So, with neuroscience and the sports, and it seems to me when making the decision between art and science that you favor science a little bit more. So, when you're making a decision, Sid, a big decision, how much do you rely on facts to answer or to solve that decision, or do you use your gut at all?
Well, when I'm presented with the decision, at first, I'll take 5 deep breaths.
Huh.
I'll take 5 deep breaths. Like for sure my gut plays a role, but I use rational thinking. I use rational thinking to, you know, jot out the pros and cons, and then things that I feel are right, I think I'll use my gut. For sure, I'm a rational thinker, but when I feel something is right, I I go with it.
Hmm. Hmm. So you saw my TEDx. I started my business when I was in my 20s and I was working way too hard and not paying attention to my health and developing all these bad diet, eating problems, eating, drinking soda and eating pizza. And I said I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. So I'd gained all this terrible amount of weight. And she says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. So I spent the next 6, 7 months, lost about 130 pounds, kept it off. People always ask me how did you do it? What's your secret? And I say, there's no secret. Discipline. That's how. Focus and motivation and routine. How does discipline play a role in your life, Sid?
Well, discipline, it's pretty much what keeps me alive,
Hmm.
honestly. That's That's the most, uh, effective way to put it. It keeps me running. Without discipline, I think I would fall apart.
Hmm.
Discipline is what keeps me going to practice every day. It's decisions that you make beforehand that keep you making fewer decisions in the moment. It discipline, consistency. I learned through my years of sports that consistency is a lot more effective than intensity. If
Hmm.
you're intense for maybe one day and then you forget about it the rest, I think being consistent is much more effective than that in the world of sports.
Consistency, routine. Had has discipline been taught and discussed by your parents and your family as a child, as when you were younger, or was it just kind of exemplified?
Yes, my parents have definitely been teaching me discipline ever since I was a little kid.
How so?
Well, my dad always forced me to wake up early,
Hmm.
even on the weekends. Um, and that sort of stayed with me. Even one thing they would tell me: if you're doing something, do it all the way.
Hmm.
Don't don't like half do a job. Be disciplined enough to do everything to the fullest. That's something they've been preaching ever since I was a little kid.
Now, your parents are immigrants
Yes, they are
from?
from India.
Very good. And being, my parents are immigrants as well. Do you think that, do you see commonality with many of your friends at school, your playmates that aren't first generation immigrants? Do you see a difference in attitude, performance, etc.?
Well, honestly, yes, a little bit. I feel some first generation students still have some traditional values exemplified,
Hmm.
um, such as the the importance of academics, which I feel is always there, but I feel like it's a little more exemplified in first generation children.
Hmm.
That's that's honestly one thing I see. Everything else, honestly, there's no specific trend I see with between first generation and second generation, or matter of
Immigrants.
fact,
Yeah.
immigrants. Yes.
Yeah, my parents just had a kind of little different work ethic, and it was instilled in me. I think you could say the same for you. They put me first, like they do, but not to say that, non-immigrant parents wouldn't do the same, but you don't really notice a difference.
Yeah, pretty much. There are for sure some differences here and there, and like the strictness of how parents operate, but honestly, I don't see any real trends.
Hmm. So what motivates you?
What motivates me? Um, Honestly, so I have a cousin who I've basically grew up with, and he actually has autism. So I've been growing up with him my entire life. He's less than 2 years younger than me, and we would always be together until I was 7. And then I noticed he was getting a lot more attention than me, and I started to wonder why. And then I sort of discovered that he had autism, and I felt like he wasn't being treated the way he should.
Hmm.
That's really what inspires me as a person. I actually started a club called Spectrum Guardians, where we mentor ASD children in elementary schools. So because I feel they need to be treated as any other child would. They need to be treated well, and that's really what keeps me going.
That's wonderful. It's a wonderful anecdote in you doing that. So, what motivates you is specifically how children should be treated in general. Give me
Oh,
another
okay.
example.
Yeah, okay. So yes, that's one of the things that motivates me. Um, Another thing that motivates me, I already discussed here, the teen suicide rate.
Yeah.
That's just so alarming to me. And I've some of my not friends that I'm super close to, but people I've heard have taken their own life.
Huh.
And that's just so like alarming to me. It's just I think it's sort of an epidemic that's only going to be on the rise with the
Hmm.
rise of social media. It's only going to get worse. That's why I think I'm so motivated to express my ideas to the public,
And why do you think youth commit suicide?
because you feel like there's no end to your problems.
Hmm.
That's I've never felt the urge to do something like that, but I am assuming that that's why people do that.
There's pressure, they have problems, and they're so overwhelmed. The only way they can get out is taking themselves out.
Yes.
And the idea there is to be someone there that they could talk to and let them know that it's going to be okay. And how do we remedy that? How do we solve this issue?
Sports.
Huh.
I don't think sports is the magical solution. I just think it helps so much
Right.
because it gives you like an alternate perspective in life. Because sports is fun. I think it shows that life can be enjoyed. It teaches you so many life lessons. Like there's gonna be failure, there's gonna be hard times, but you're gonna work through it. That's something I learned in sports. Some of my track stuff, I mean, and some football stuff. My my first 2 years, I sat on the bench. I did not get a lot of playing time. I wasn't that great, and then I worked as hard as I could. The summer coming into freshman year, yeah, I could only bench. I couldn't even bench 100 pounds before that, and then by the time I hit freshman year, I could bench 135, which I thought was good in the moment.
Wow.
So I worked as hard as I humanly could, and I started wide receiver and cornerback that
Hmm.
year. So that sports taught me that hard work pays off.
As a wide receiver, talk to me what it's like going up for a pass, leaving the ground, and wondering what's gonna happen after you catch it and you start to fall. I mean, who's gonna be there? Who's gonna plow into you? What is that feeling like?
Honestly, when I'm in the game, I don't think of all of that.
I
I just
see.
think about having fun because if I think about that, then I start playing scared.
Ah.
And that honestly translates to real life as well. If you overthink things, which I am an overthinker, if you overthink things, you're not living in the moment. Live in the moment, have fun. That's what I learned through football.
Good for
Because
you.
football is a whole lot of fun when you don't think about everything associated with it.
Mm. So getting back to your motivation, you mentioned, helping students. You mentioned, suicide rate and what can happen there. So how do you said measure success?
I measure success through happiness, how enthralled a person is in doing something. Um, sure, some other people might say like money, oh, he's more successful than him because he makes more money, but who cares about money when you're not enjoying your life, right?
Hmm.
That's how I measure success.
Hmm. Do you meditate?
I do meditate. Yes.
How and when and how often?
I meditate 5 minutes every day in the morning. Just I just close my eyes, take deep breaths, manifest who I want to be, manifest my goals being achieved. And then sometimes when you just pay attention to your breath, you don't think about anything.
Hmm.
You just feel calm.
Yeah, you sure do. How about journal? Do you journal
Yes, I do journal. I journal every night
digitally or with pen and paper?
with pen and paper. I think that's where I feel true.
When you were practicing your speech, did you go pen to paper or were you all digital?
I was digital on my speech.
Hmm.
I felt, I mean, I felt it was much easier to type, and it was much easier to, memorize
Hmm.
while digital. I could sort of access it anywhere I wanted to.
What role does artificial intelligence play in the high schooler's life?
That's a big one. AI, it's, again, like my parents' analogy, it's a knife.
Huh.
So it's for sure very helpful. It'll give you a guideline on how to, go about a certain thing or a certain goal you want to achieve. It's actually helped me with some of my training, how to specifically recover, how to do when all of that when you don't have specific help. But I don't know if you've heard this, but researchers have conducted a study and they've confirmed that ChatGPT is actually making teens lazier.
Ah.
So I got this news a while ago before like GPT-5 was even made. So I can only say it's getting worse.
Hmm.
I'm not saying AI is a bad thing. I'm just saying it needs to be, regulated.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. How so? What do you want? Who do you want to regulate it? How do you want how do you want it to be regulated?
Hmm. Well, I mean, in the school scenario, AI is flat out not allowed.
Right.
Um, and I think that's a good thing. I think that is good enough because if it's regulated in the school setting, then people know how to function without it. So, and that I think sets the guideline for the rest of someone's life. School is meant for people to think analytically in the in the scenario of being in an actual job. And if you're able to do your job without AI, I think you're good enough.
Hmm. So put yourself 5 years ahead from now, Sid. Okay, you what? You'd be 22, 23,
21.
21. That's right.
Yeah. Mm.
My goodness. So you'll be in college. You think if you look back on this conversation, what would you be shocked by? You think?
Um, I would be shocked about what I said about social media,
Ah,
I think. Because I think I will only be using social media more as I grow up to
right.
make more connections with others, to get to know more about others. I think I'll be shocked about, and AI too. I have no idea how AI is gonna change in the next 5 years. Those are two things I would definitely be surprised about.
Hmm. Well, Sid, it's a great pleasure meeting you and talking to you today. I'll make sure to put the TEDx link up on the show notes. I thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much as well. I have one last thing to say.
Okay.
So, to all the moms listening, I say this with a lot of respect and love. There's a difference between not being available for a small moment and not being here for the most important moments of a child's life.
Hmm.
Missing a practice once, being late one day, or taking time for yourself occasionally doesn't define motherhood. But slowly giving up your health, your energy, and your presence over time, that's what truly takes you away.
Hmm.
Discipline is what protects against that. Discipline isn't about doing something extreme. It's about making small, consistent changes, consistent choices that protect your future presence. I've heard you say it powerfully. If you want to be at your daughter's wedding, you have to change today. Discipline is how change actually happens. Discipline and self care isn't choosing yourself over your kid, it's choosing longevity over burnout, like we mentioned. It's choosing to be here, not just now, but years from now, for the moments that matter most. Self care practiced with discipline isn't stepping away from motherhood. It's how you stay in it. Thank you.
Sid, well said. Well said. You be well, my friend. I hope I get to meet you again soon.
You as well. Thank you so much for having me here, Mr. Pinz.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations.